So we're likely to see a packed full of important economic data out this week. Tomorrow, the focus will be on GDP. Well, Dawn Ridler of Karenga Wealth Ecology joins me now for more. Dawn, thanks for coming in. I want to start with the big one, the GDP figure out. We'll get the a sense of how the economy grew last year. And I wouldn't forget that at least a year ago, President Cyril Ramaphosa having this ambitious target of 3%, but in reality, we're unlikely to see 3%, perhaps 0.7% is what some of them are seeing. And I suppose if you look at it, nothing close to what the forecast was in the beginning of the year.
No, absolutely not. December was, if you look at the retail sales, was very difficult for all the retailers. And a lot of GDP is driven by consumer expenditure. So I don't think we can expect anything like even the 2.2% that we saw in Q3. And certainly below 1% is much more likely.
And it's interesting because that confidence that was so much needed to sort of give the impetus for the business environment never really gained momentum. And if you look at the other industries like mining and manufacturing, mining still in the negative, manufacturing barely positive. So no chance of getting any contribution from that point.
No, and the signs are not there that it's going to get better. The whole issues around power outages and that kind of thing are going to impact really badly on both retail, especially small retailers, but the mining are going to be devastated by power cuts and power price increases.
Yeah, it's really interesting when you look at what's needed for jobs. I mean, we always told that the NDP forecasts a 5% growth rate in order for us to get jobs in the country. So once again, tomorrow the reality kicks in that job creation may be stymied somewhat from the growth rate we get.
I think the whole issue around job creation is probably one of the major drivers of our economy. And I think the impetus that was given in the budget for entrepreneurs and for giving new job entrants, 1 year's salary in order to get job experience, because it often is a chicken and egg situation that new job entrants or matriculants can't get a job because they haven't got experience, and something like this will actually sort of get the ball rolling at the government's expense. So I think initiatives like that are far more positive. But on the whole, if the economy is not roaring, what else can we expect in terms of unemployment?
And to add to the anxiety, come Thursday, energy regulator NERSA will tell us what that tariff is in terms of electricity prices. And again, businesses will be watching this. More expensive power means they can't be as active as they want to be.
Absolutely. And I think the time has come for a conversation to be had around independent power producers, and them playing a major role in the economy and in the production of power without being held back by Eskom or even being held back by NERSA. Why shouldn't they be able to produce power at their own price and, give Eskom a real run for their money?
What do you think we'll see on Thursday in terms of tariff? Is it difficult to tell?
I think it's almost impossible to tell. The thing is that there's this groundswell of feeling that why should we pay for Eskom's decade-long corruption, and which is basically what that 15% increase that they want is. When you consider that over the last 11 years there's been a 500% increase anyway, which is way above inflation. So I would like to see NERSA stick to their guns and give them a CPI increase of 5%. But, perhaps pragmatically we'll see something in between of maybe 7 or 8%.
And then also later on in the week, we'll get a sense of how we are doing on the export front. We want to export as much as possible from the country. The current account balance for the final quarter of 2018 is out. What do you see?
I think there's always an opportunity when the exchange rate is depreciating like it is at the moment for those exporters to maximize those exports in order for it to happen. And we see that happening in those sort of export numbers every time, and that obviously reflects on the trade account immediately. Yep. So, and we're in that position right now that when we can sit and complain about the depreciation of the rand, but there are opportunities to be had, especially when it comes to exports.
We'll leave it there. Dawn, thanks very much indeed for coming in. That was Dawn Ridler from Karenga.